Hi CDK fellows. Thank you for participating in the CDK Day. My name is Tom and I'm a developer based in Berlin, Germany. I've been using the AWS CDK for 2 years now, and today I want to share with you a project I've been working on. So in our last project, our team was building a rather cloud native application, and we used CDK for our infrastructure. And we were building a lot, and our stacks had so many resources, and we were using so many building blocks, and CDK, it really enabled us in the project. But then one learns that with this great power to add resources fast, there comes a great diagramming responsibility. And diagrams, they are really important because they are great when you want to reason about changes you want to make, or when you want to onboard new colleagues, or just for general documentation when you need like a refresh about how an application is wired up. So given this dynamic and fast-growing nature of our CDK application, updating our manually created diagrams, it became quite challenging to keep up with. And it was clear we are accumulating sometimes what I would call like a diagrammic debt. So being a DevOps enthusiast, I was wondering, how can I automate this? And I looked into some tools available out there, and there really are a lot of tools available in this space. So let's take a look into a few of those diagramming approaches. The first group is what I call an AWS crawler. And these solutions, they basically work like a crawler. So you give read-only access policy for your whole account, and they will go and query all supported AWS services. They will figure out what is provisioned, and then they will create you a diagram. And while there are really great products out there, this crawling thing, it feels to me a little bit like reverse engineering. And in this case, reverse engineering is not needed because we have the source code. And our CDK code is very clear, and it clearly describes the structure and the constructs and the resources, and it even has information about the relationships between these. So I moved on to the next group of diagramming solutions, which is basically diagramming a CloudFormation template. And I think this is generally a better approach than the previous one. And again, there are really great tools out there in this group. But still, when CDK synthesizes code to a CloudFormation template, there is a lot of data loss. So specifically, much of the structure is kind of flattened, and the diagram that you get is rather flat. So you lose all the topology and the clustering information that your CDK code contains. So seeing these tools out there and different approaches, I decided that there is a real justification for a CDK-based diagramming tool. And thanks to the Corona pandemic, I had a lot of free time recently, and I decided to go for a side project that creates such a tool. And that's CDK-Dia. So CDK-Dia is available on GitHub and NPM. And I'm really looking forward to see how will you use it. So let's see a few diagram examples from CDK-Dia. Here we see a basic data ingestion and processing application. So we can see here that CDK-Dia clusters CDK constructs. So it's clear for us which resources are part of the ingestion construct and which belong to the processing construct. And additionally to those icons or nodes, in this diagram, we also have edges. So we can see how these resources interact with each other. Now, let's look at another example. So here we see a classic three-tier architecture with a web, database, and application layers. And this is the default diagram of this application. So That's what you get out of the box when you run CDK-Dia. And in these diagrams, all of the constructs are collapsed. So the amount of detail here is rather low. But naturally, under the hood, CDK is provisioning many more resources. So let's say that for our use case, we actually want to see all of those details. For this, we can run CDK-Dia with the collapsed equals false flag, and then we get an uncollapsed diagram with lots of details. So as you can see here, or maybe it's a little hard for you to see because the diagram is really big and has much white space, which is something I plan to improve. This diagram of the same application now has all the resources and details. So let's zoom in for a second at this VPC part. So this was just one node or icon in the previous collapse diagram. And now we have so much detail about it. And that's very useful if you need some sort of a high resolution diagram, you want to get all the details, etc. When thinking about this project, I also stumbled into another concept, which is a diagram as code. And I was wondering, how does diagram as code fit into CDK-Dia? And for this purpose, CDK-Dia has those decorators, which you can use with your CDK constructs. So the idea here is that using these decorators, you can customize your diagrams as part of your CDK code. So, the benefit here is that you can have those tweaks applied whenever you regenerate a diagram. Now currently, the only such decorator implemented is one which sets the collapsing or uncollapsing of specific constructs. So in contrast to this global collapse flag we saw before, in this diagram now, only the DB construct or layer was decorated with a forced non-collapse flag. So this is very useful if there is a specific part of your application which contains some sort of complexity or some sort of customization for which you want to diagram more details or like put a spotlight on. And I have ideas for many such other decorators. So maybe one can set a custom icon or a custom text, or not diagram at all a specific resource or construct, or set other diagram properties. So what's next? Well, I'm really looking forward to developers taking CDK-Dia for a test run and to getting some feedback. Additionally, there are many features and improvements one can think of, and I'll be really happy to have some additional contributors to the project. And for this, I added a few GitHub issues that you can implement if you're interested. So that's it. Thank you for watching and enjoy your rest of your CDK day. Bye bye.